Hello everyone, welcome back on our YouTube channel. You know that we have started already uh, chapter number 3 in the preparation of ISTQB foundation level exam, and in the last video we have covered topic 3.1, which was about static testing basics. And we have seen in the last video, just a short recap, that static testing basically consists of static analysis and review process. Static analysis we have already seen, it's normally automatic, some grammar checks, some tool driven testing. Now in this video we will discuss in detail about the review process, and it is very important topic of this chapter for exam as well and for your basic knowledge. This topic is a bigger one, so we will try to divide it into two videos. So first of all, let's start the review process. As you know, the review means like about reading the work products or reviewing the work product. So reviews vary from informal to formal. These we will see how many types are there for the reviews. Informal reviews are characterized by not following defined process and not having formal documented output. Formal reviews are characterized by team participation, documented result of the review, and documented procedure for conducting the review. Like in informal review, for example, you have planned it in this way that you will do this review with your colleague or your peer, and then you discuss with him or her, and then it is not documented at the end. But in the formal review, higher authorities are involved as well, where some facilitator is there, reviewers are there, and some experts are there, and everything will be documented. So review can be informal as well as formal and semi-formal. This we will see in detail when we will discuss about the review types. The formality of a review process is related to the factors such as software development lifecycle model, the maturity of the development process, the complexity of the work product to be reviewed, or any legal or regularity requirement, and the need for the audit trail. Like actually, the review should be formal. It is the reasons, like there are many reasons that review should be formal or informal. How you classify that this review should be formal, this review should be informal. This everything we will see in detail. The focus of a review depends on the agreed objective of the review: finding defect, gaining understanding, educating participants such as tester and new team members, or discussing and deciding by consensus. That means like the main purpose of the review is to, like, if you find some defect in a work product, then you tell the author of that work product. Work product could be a code, then it's a developer. Work product could be a test case, then tester is the author. You tell the tester, you tell the developer, like these are the problems or defects. Then during the review you point out some defects and discuss, and like normally you have some consensus. There is a standard of ISO, which is ISO IEC 20246, contain more in-depth description of the review process for work product, including roles and review techniques. Every topic, roles and review techniques, you will see in detail. If you want to go into more detail, it is not required, but only for your reference they have written it here. It's from document 20246. Now we will see work product review process, how the work product review process works. Maybe you remember from chapter number 1, we had a test process, like test planning, monitoring and control, test analysis, implementation, different kind. You can also think in that way. The review process, also the work product review process also had 5 steps, like planning, initiate, like first of all plan it, then initiate the review, sending the work product or documents to the reviewers, then individual review, everyone will read the document at their own side, then there will be a formal meeting, issue communication and analysis, then fixing and reporting. So like there are 5 steps or 5 like the review process of any work product basically have 5 steps. The first one is planning. What is planning? The planning is normally being done by, for the review process, by the test manager or the software development manager. In planning we define the scope, which include the purpose of the review, what documents or parts of the document to review, and the quality characteristic to be evaluated. Like you tell which work product would be reviewed, either it will be the business requirement or the normal requirement or your code or your design or your specifications whatsoever. Everything can be reviewed. So during planning you decide like what review you need, then estimating effort and time frame as well, Then identifying review characteristics such as the what will be the review, which kind of review, will it be a formal review, semi-formal review, everything we will see in the upcoming in few minutes. You also define the role, activities and checklists as well for that review, selecting the people to participate in the review and allocating the roles. Defining the entry and exit criteria for a more formal review type, i.e. inspections. This we will see what is inspection when we will discuss the review types. What is entry and exit criteria? Like for example, you have to do the review of code, for example. What is the entry criteria? If you are going to review let's see a code of a module, entry criteria is code should be developed, code should be there, basic entry criteria. And what is the exit criteria? After review, it should fulfill the requirement and should be error free. Like it is called normally, for example, for a requirement, what is entry criteria? You want to review a work product, let's say requirement, you are planning for a review. What is the entry criteria in that case? Entry criteria is your requirements should be well written. And the exit criteria is, for example, after the review you say that requirements are clear, no ambiguity is there, everything is clear. So like this is also being decided, the entry and exit criteria is also decided during the planning of the review. Then checking that entry criteria are met for more formal review. Like for example, you set the entry and exit criteria during planning, and even in some cases you see for example, next week we are going to do the code review of Mr. XYZ, let's say Mr. X, and then you ask Mr. X, hey, is your code is ready? If it is ready, then entry criteria for the review process of code is met. So it's the planning, everything is planning. So this was the first phase of review process. The second phase is initiate review. So I will again remind you, review process as a test process as well as a test process has some steps. Test process had some steps, review process has 5 steps. So now the second step is, the first was planning, which is being done either by the test manager, team lead, whatsoever. Then initiate review. When planning is done, everything is done, you think that Mr. X will play this role during review, Mr. Y will play this role, then you initiate the review. What it means, you send the work product which is needed to be reviewed to the persons which you have decided what roles will be there, will they hold during the review. So distributing the work product physically or by electronic means like email and other materials such as issue log form, checklist and related work product. Explaining the scope, objective, process, role and work product to the participant. Answering any question that participant may have about the review. So when review planning is done, you send the individual or the work products to the reviewers, which will be the part of the review meeting, as an email or as a like hard copy or whatsoever, is it a code or work product, so that they can prepare it by at their own before the you can say before the review. So you can say it was the planning and then initiating the review. You can also call it kickoff or a review start, informally start of the review. Then the third step is individual review. Now everybody has the work product that need to be reviewed, roles are being assigned. Then actually you like as an individual you review the document, reviewing all or part of the work product, noting potential defect, recommendation and questions. Like for example, Mr. X has a role, Mr. Y has a role, Mr. Z has a role. They received the document or the work product in this phase, initiate review. Now they have their own individual review. They will do maybe during their work time or at their own desk working area, they will review by their own and will note down the potential defects whatsoever. Individual review, it is by their own. Then the next step or the fourth step actually is issue communication and analysis. That means it is a review, official review you can say. It is a kind of, everybody will, like all the reviewers will come, they will do a get together, they will sit together, let's say in a meeting, and they will issue communication analysis, communicating identified potential defects in a review meeting. Like they will come with their own notes what they have prepared during individual review, analyze potential defect, assigning ownership and status to them. They will discuss that we have found these kind of defect in the work product during individual review. So they will discuss with all the reviewers, they will say yeah, it's a potential defect, then it will be assigned to the author. If it's a code, it will be assigned to developer. If it is a requirement or business requirement, it will be assigned back to the author, which is product owner. if it is, for example, test case, it will be assigned back to the test developer or test manager. Evaluating and documenting quality characteristic, like some, for example, quality means non-functional characteristic will be discussed. Evaluating the review finding against the exit criteria to make a review decision. Reject major changes needed, accept possibly with minor changes. Like they already have the exit criteria. That exit criteria for this review will be this. If they see everything is fine and no problem is there during the review, then they say the this work product is fine, we can it's good. When if there are some defects, they will reject it and will assign it back to the author to do the major changes. So it's like this. The last step is fixing and reporting. Like when the review meeting is done, in the last step you will fix the author who has assigned the task to fix the work product. He will fix it and report it back. So creating defect report for those finding that require changes to a work product. Fixing defects found typically done by the author in the work product review. Like fixing defects is typically done by the author. For example, during review meeting, defects are found in the code, so who will fix that defect? Developer. For example, during discussion, there was a high level design defect was fault, so who will correct it? Who is the author? Your architect of the software architect or high level design engineer. So they will correct it. Communicating defect to the appropriate person or team when found in a work product related to the work product reviewed. Recording updated status of defect in formal review, potentially including the agreement of comment originator. Gathering matrices for formal like they also gather the matrices that if it is all the criteria are met, everything is solved down. Checking the exit criteria are met. Accepting the work product when the exit criteria are reached. So there are basically 5 steps for a complete review process. As there were 7 steps, I guess, for the test process, for the review process we have 5 steps. So in here we have discussed the 5 basic steps for the review. Now we will discuss the roles and responsibilities during a formal review. The roles which we will discuss here, they all are part of formal review. When the review is, for example, informal, I will quickly give you an example how many types of review. One is informal review. This, like we are going from informal to formal like this, so it is the most informal, as the name suggesting, informal review. Walkthrough is on a higher level in the direction of formal. Then technical review. Inspection is 75%, you can say, formal. Like or 100% formal, you can say. It is also known as, I think, formal review process as well, because in some course content or in if you read on the internet, sometimes you also find a heading with the name of formal. But inspection over here in the foundation level of ISTQB is a formal type. So starting from formal, then we go to walkthrough, technical review, and inspection. The roles which we are gonna discuss here are in a formal review. Maybe in a technical review or in a walkthrough, some of roles are there, some of roles are not there. But in a formal review, as in this syllabus it's inspection, all the roles will definitely be present here. That's why all the roles are defined for a formal review. So the first role is author. Author, who is the author? If test cases are there, then tester is the author. If the specification requirement document is there, then you can say, or the business requirement, the product owner is the author. If code is being developed, or the code for the module, then developer is the author. So who is the author? Who create the work product under review, fix defect in the work product under review if necessary. Like if some defects are reported during review, then the author will fix it. The second role during a formal review is of management. As the name is suggesting, it will be a manager is responsible for review planning. He will, like as we have seen, the review process has 5 phases. The first phase was planning. Everything is planned, so it is being done by the management. Decide on the execution of reviews, when the execution reviews will happen. Assign staff, budget and time. Monitor ongoing course effectiveness. Execute control decision in the event of inadequate outcomes. Like it's the whole complete management or the planning of the review process is being done by the management. The third role is of facilitator, also known as moderator. ensure effective running of the review meeting when held. Like moderator is a neutral person who is a bridge, you can say, between the reviewers and the author, and then they discuss it together. Mediates if necessary between the various points of view. If there are some conflicts, the role of moderator is very crucial. He will keep the things under control, and so this is often the person upon whom the success of the review process depends. The fourth role in a review process is a review leader, like a leader of the review meeting. Take it like this: like a review is being held, and the person who is leading the review is a review leader. So takes over all responsibility for the review, decides who will be involved and organize where, when, and where it will take place. So the review leader was the fourth role. The fifth role is of reviewers. Reviewers could be your teammates, could be from the other team who are expert in that particular domain, maybe subject matter expert, person working on the project, stakeholder with an interest in the work product, or individual with specific technical or business background. They identify potential defect in the work product under review, may represent different perspectives: tester, developer, user, operator, business analyst, usability expert. A reviewer could be a field expert. Then the last role is scribe or recorder, like a person who note down the minutes of the review activity and give the feedback. Collates potential defects found during the actually it should be collect potential defects, or collate as well, found during the individual review activity, record new potential defect, open point, and decision from the review meeting when held. So there are 6 roles basically. You have to remember these roles. Sometime the question comes in the exam. In some review types, one person may play more than one role, and the action associated with each role may also be vary based on a review type. In addition, with the advent of tools to support the review process, especially the logging of defects, open points, and decision, there is often no need for a scribe. Like, there are some automatic tools. If you simply enter like this defect is found, and some project management tool, so no need of a scribe or recorder is there to note down the points. So for more details, you can go to the ISO standard. You don't need it in the detail because this much reading is enough. So here we have discussed the roles, and now we will discuss in more detail about the review types. As we have seen, there are different types of reviews, and then we will see what are the different techniques that are being applied during the reviews.